Good morning. This is Kimberly at forthekids.net. This morning I'm going to post on my Facebook how to turn one of your old, possibly Evan Moore, centers into a game for students to practice in a small group instruction instead of independently. Taught resource for a lot of years, and the kids couldn't read well enough to really do the games on their own the first couple of times. So I kind of adapted how they were going to do the activity and play, and also took out the writing piece because a lot of students, the writing would make them not even want to play the game. So let me aim this down at my desk, and I hope there's not too much glare that you can't see my cards. So we have sentence strips for multiple meaning words. This one says, Aunt Emma refuses to weigh herself on the bathroom blank. To blank a mountain is to climb all the way to the top. So these are the sentence strips that we're going to answer as a group. So I would hold these back for myself. And then we have the answer cards. We have bear, loaf, season, vault, hatch, squash, hamper, pound, stoop, scale, treat, and hail. So I would shuffle these up for the students. After reading them, I always read the words to the students ahead of time, kind of just as a practice. I usually turn it so that they can see the words. And then we pass them out backwards, and I've put little stickers on the back so that nobody can kind of cheat. Because I never thought the center games were so hard that I needed the answer key, but the kids often would just flip them over and try to do the answer key. So then I would put this one out for my students to see at my kidney table. Aunt Emma refuses to weigh herself on a bathroom blank. To blank a mountain is to climb all the way to the top. And then each student would have their set of cards. Now, depending on the grade of the card, the grade of the students, and how often we've played this game before, I would ask them to lay their cards so that I could see them, or they could hold them privately if they were a better reader and had the hand-eye coordination. So I would read this again. We talk about weigh. Okay, so she's getting on a scale to say if she ate too much candy, and now today she weighs more. So I weigh myself where? And the kids would check their words, and if they thought they had the word, they would turn it in. Scale. Yay! All right, you win. That word goes together. Some students need a point right now, a star, a sticker, or something for having got their word. Some kids you can play to whoever uses all their cards first. Really depends on your students and how much intervention they need to keep motivated. I am so hungry that I could eat a whole blank of bread. Samantha likes to blank around the house and not to do any work. So when we eat bread, what does it come in? What does it come in? I would let all the kids, I would point to each one and say, make sure you check all your cards. Maybe even pick them up and say, okay, set them down as you're reading them. Check all your cards. Okay, none of those work. Okay, let's see. Maybe this is Araceli sitting here. Season. Do I eat a whole season? No. Do I eat a whole treat of bread? Well, I eat a whole treat, but I usually don't talk about bread. Hamper. I don't think bread comes in a hamper either. Loaf. Oh my goodness, I do eat a whole loaf of bread, and sometimes I like to loaf around the house. That means she's going to be lazy. Yay, you got it. So that's how we would play the game until every sentence and every card was used. The first time I would play it, I would read. I'll do all the reading myself. The next time, I would read the words at the beginning of the lesson, pass them out, and then hope they could read them themselves. And this is really good for second grade resource. By the third time, I would maybe be asking the students to read these cards because they've seen them a few times. There's a lot of visual clues. The students with dyslexia aren't going to struggle with these sentences as much as the little sentences because there are more visual cues. Next one, Kevin went to the store to buy a blank of butter and a gallon of milk. My brother Victor likes to blank nails into boards. So we would talk about what word would fit. Everybody would check their words. Somebody would play their card and it would win. Eventually, after the kids had played these for on and off for a year, the next year in their next grade, when they were in my resource room, I knew this is an activity that I could set aside with one or two students to do alone while I assess somebody else. And this is an old Evan Moore game. It's the multiple meaning words, and I just took it from being a center into playing a game, because like you, I love my teacher pay teacher stores. I love all the new ideas, but I can't throw out hundreds of dollars and hours worth of centers to kind of change my position now that I'm a resource teacher from a general ed 3rd grade. So this was a 3rd grade center. It's multiple meaning words. We have the 2 sentences, we have the cards, and we could play it as a game. I set out the deck right now for 3 students, but you could play it up to 6. It goes faster when you have 6 because the kids have fewer cards to check on their own. But that's one way to turn in your center of multiple meanings into a game for your kids. Turn this back to me. I hope that this helps, because I don't want everybody to think that just because there's a new product on TPT, even if it's my product, if you have an old center, you might want to just rethink how you're using it to meet the new state standards or a new challenge, and you might even organize some kind of trade in your staff room now that some of the expectations for grade levels have shifted around. Maybe your solar system unit and stuff isn't going to work with your new science curriculum, but the grade level above or below you will, and you can trade off with some friends things that they have in their room that worked really well with their kids. But don't think you need to always follow the directions on an activity that you've bought. Be creative and have a good day. Bye.